Welcome back to Spears and Mikes. We got our special guest, Tiny from the Black Spades New Direction, giving us the history of the Black Spades, Casanova crew, what it was like in the Bronx. We're gonna resume right back. So, Tiny, speaking about the Black Spades, we know that you and other brothers have started something called the TBS, the New Direction. You know, the Spades have been going in a new direction lately. Can you tell the brothers and sisters about that? What how that came about and what y'all striving for?
Well, let me go back a little bit before I start that. You
Hmm.
know, when I came home, when I came home from upstate where I got with the Casanovas and all that, after we left Grandmaster Flash, when he went with Sylvia Robinson, she kept us on for a while, but Sylvia had her own team, yeah, and I'm pretty sure you know she was the director of her production, Sylvia Robinson, Sugar Hill, Flash, and all the other people.
Hmm. Hmm.
So she didn't need us no more. And Flash and them, they didn't keep us because they was traveling around so much, and they wasn't going to spend their money to keep us. We kept in contact, but she let us go. So and I wasn't really a believer in hip hop. So when they let us go, I just left along with the crew. They didn't want to go because they thought they was being cheated because they helped take Flash so far. Because Flash was the only one of the only groups, along with Band Body, but I'm not gonna speak about nobody else right now. But Flash, Flash was one of the only groups that was never robbed. Never robbed. When people was coming to our parties and talk about the security was robbing the parties. That we was robbing brothers that was coming to rob our party. Just so they got robbed first. So this is how the Casanovas developed that reputation as robbing their parties, and our parties became that great. But like I said, as we left that era, I went into another. I went into the streets. Going into the streets, I started doing a lot of different things. I think I was like 27, 28 years old when I first started getting high. I never got high in my life, and I started out there selling this, selling that, and hanging out. One day I was getting high and messing around like these. We used to bodyguard the drug dealers back in the days, but I used to be the only brother in the bar like this. So my crew said to me, "Say, yo, man, you gotta stay up, man. You gotta stay up." Man, I said, "Man, y'all leave me alone and do y'all thing and let me go to sleep." So my man one day said, "Yo, hey, take a hit of this." So he gave me a hit of coke, and that started my adventure for 21 years. That started my adventures of getting high for 21 years. I pretty much lost my mind and things like that. So moving far, all up. I'm gonna go further up. I'm gonna go up. You understand the truth? You're talking about, man, you're talking about like from 80 all the way up, all the way up to about 2012. This is when Fraternal Order, the Black Spades with Queen Pepsi, God bless her. You understand? When she was
Hmm.
alive, Gigi, Campy, a lot of the Zulus, they started the Fraternal Order, the Black Spades. They was always trying to get me involved with that, but I used to say, man, leave me alone, man. I got to go get high. I wasn't shooting dope. I wasn't smoking crack. So I didn't care. I was sniffing coke, but not really realizing that it was beating me. It was beating me to the point that I was getting high, and I was working, but I was working just to get high. So anyway,
Hmm.
around about 2013, the last time I've been high was 2014, 13, because when 2014, January 1st, 2014 came in, from that day forward till today, I have not had anything in my system. But from 80 all the way up to 2013, I was getting high. I almost lost my home. I almost lost everything. Now, mind you, as I'm watching everybody do their thing, Pepsi and Campy and all of them say, yo, Tiny, they only knew my qualifications as far as being a leader. And I wasn't the smartest person in the world, but I had a little education. Yo, come on and join us. But I couldn't join them because I was too busy getting high. I was too busy bodyguarding, getting paid in the street. And plus I wanted to get high, so I left them alone. And I couldn't do what I had to do and hang out with them. So but in 2013, I was watching everything before that, and I realized they started the Fraternal Order, the Black Spades. That was the first organization, but it came from Zulu. Now, mind you, brothers, no disrespect to y'all, because we didn't cover this before. It came from Zulu, but I kept asking Campy and them, why are y'all covering Zulus when y'all should cover Spades? I understand Bam was an awesome brother. Bam did an awesome job. But why are y'all covering him? Because y'all was speaking very little of all of us and more of them when they came from us. So they would ask me, say, come on, brother, you need to get with us and things like that. So I said, nah. So TBS New Direction, as you know, TBS stands for the Black Space. That wasn't the first thing I created. When I first decided to create something, I came back today like I have today, Black Spades Security Service. I have the title and a name to that. Black Spades is an LLC as well. I
Mhm.
created Black Spades Security Service. When I created Black Spades Security Services, sorry for my speech, Black Spades Security Services,
Mhm.
people from all over the Bronx and the Bronx and Manhattan was coming at me left and right. Yo, brother, we remember the Spades. Yo, brother, I need you to talk to the kids. Yo, brother, I need you this. But I was trying to make money. I was not trying to be a
Mhm.
mentoring program. I was trying to get money. So I would go and I would speak and I would talk about where the name come from and why I started it. Then one day a brother said, man, you need to start a mentoring program. So I sat down for a while and I didn't want to use black spades because I could have used black spades in a new direction, but I wanted to use something different. The matter of fact, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I didn't want to use it, but I was going to use it, but I didn't want to use it. And then when I went to use it, I couldn't use the word black spades because somebody already had that
Mhm.
name. So what I did
Mhm.
was I abbreviated. I said, you know what? I'm gonna use TBS. TBS stands for the Black Spades in a New Direction, and then that's when I created TBS New Direction for the purpose of showing people. I wanted to show people why we really came into existence. See, the Spades didn't come into existence to be a gang. The Spades came into existence. You understand? When like I told you before in the '70s, when the heroin thing was there, those brothers, the founders of the Spades created that so that they could protect their neighborhood, protect to get the drugs out the neighborhood, and protect the neighborhood and things like that. And that was one of the things that I thought that the fraternal order should have been doing. I thought that the fraternal order should have reflected more of Spades than Zulus to an extent because they needed to say where we came from. Not that the Spades was once Zulus and now we're Zulus, but explain why we were Spades. Mind you, they didn't do it. I had an attitude, so like I said, I went on and I created Black Spades Security Services Incorporation first, but then by popular demand and people, I mean, in 2013 or 2013 when I stopped getting high. Then I registered for school and I got back in school. I went back and I got my bachelor's degree. I had went to college before, but I quit. But I went back to the same college, the College of New Rochelle. So all the credits that I had from when I was in school, you understand? Because I went to school before I went to jail in '74 in the '70s, and I kept quitting and going and quit. Because I was in the gang. When I was in the gang, I held a job and I was trying to go to school, but I never completed anything. But I tried. So I took those same credits and I went back to school in 2013 and I graduated in 2015 with my bachelor's degree in liberal arts. And while I was in college, I created the Black Space Security Services. And then with the demand of me doing a lot of speaking engagements, and I had a sister that was in school with me, she said, you need to put together a mentoring program. And the people on the streets was telling me too. But I was thinking more about money than anything else, not knowing that the speaking engagements could give you money too. Cause I wanted money. I want security, money. But I put together the mentoring program, and then when I put together the mentoring program, the fraternal order was still there for a while. Not too long after I put together the mentoring program, TBS New Direction. Now, mind you, like I said, I wanted to create the atmosphere of why the Spades were created. The Spades were not created to be a gang. They was created to save their neighborhood. They was created to do good things. But unfortunately, just like the Bloods, the Crips, and all the Chicago, most of the Chicago gangs and stuff, they all came about trying to do different changes in their neighborhood. The Panthers and all that. The police didn't give us a break, and the other gangs didn't give us a break, because when they start seeing a bunch of black people together, you're a gang. No matter what you say you are, you're a gang. When you see a bunch of Spanish people together, oh, you're a gang. No matter you see a bunch of white boys together, you're a bunch of gang. So we got branded. The Spades got branded with that gang mentality, and from that day on, they had to fight to survive, which we became one of the biggest, one largest, like I said before, gangs in the city of New York. And this is why TBS was created. I wanted to bring back that mind frame. I wanted to work with police. I still don't like them, but God allowed me to live and learn that. Y'all don't think y'all can see my shirt, but our shirt says it takes a village. The police are part of that village. Our politicians are a part of that
Mhm.
village. White folks, no matter how much we like them or dislike them, they are part of that village. The human race
Mhm.
is a part of that village. So when I
Yes, sir.
started that, I started speaking to everybody. I started talking, and mind you, even today I hold public. We had a public safety dinner last month. 2017, we started talking, create these public safety dinners, bringing gangbangers, politicians, former gang members, present day gang members, politicians, police department, clergy. I bring them all to a table where we sit down and we talk about how we can exist together. Because the other last week we celebrated my pastor anniversary. Pastor Reginald Paris, he's on 222nd Street, and Dynamite was the one that got me to that church, and I stayed there. That on 222nd Street, White Plains Road, Dynamite introduced me to that pastor, and I never left him since then. But he had a anniversary dinner last week, and the room was full of pastors, and I was called to speak along with all the other people from the church. We all spoke and said how we felt about our pastors, and I was the only, and like I told him, I was the only one in that room who could speak from a perspective of not being a pastor, a deacon, even though he's training me to be a deacon, not being a pastor or
Mhm.
deacon. I spoke as a former gang member, and one of the things I said to them is that I brought up our public safety dinners and what we do with these dinners. You understand? And they all seem to give me a little clap. And then the clap stopped when I said, please, I have to be myself and listen to what I say and listen to what I say clearly. The church used to be the first line of defense for all of us. And I believe for some of you guys too, but that might be a little old, used to be the first line of defense. You understand? Our mothers, when I was growing up, I'm saying me, not y'all, but when I was growing up, my mother would call a pastor, and he would come over and he wouldn't beat us, but he'd get on us and tell us the wrath of God and this and that. And the pastor would come to support our mothers. You had those nasty pastors too, pat them on the shoulder and tell them something in their ear. But the pastors back then in those days would come out and support us. They have the rent parties and they have this and they have that. And I told those pastors, all that's gone. Y'all don't come out to church. And I quoted Farrakhan. I quoted Farrakhan. Farrakhan once said when I was at the State Building, Farrakhan, I had an invitation to come down there, and I sat in the first row. And I'll never forget these words that he said. He looked out the State Building on 125th Street, and he said, listen, I want you passengers to look out the windows. This is about 15 years ago. He said, you see those brothers on the street? He said, y'all don't care nothing about them. He said, you know why?
Mm.
Because they don't pay tithes. He said, if those brothers paid tithes, y'all would be out there every day to get that little change that they put in your plate. But because they don't pay tithes, those are the ones you need to be out there. And I took that to heart. And I run with that today. And I tell pastors that today because the pastors today is on a whole new different code. They want planes and boats and ships, and they want the people to put the money in the plate so that they can get from Manhattan to Vegas overnight. And the thing is that I don't see it. The biggest churches in Harlem right now have a lot of the property. But why do they have all that property and our people been putting been putting in their money in the donation plates for years? I know grandparents and fathers and mothers that been putting money in the plates, and these churches own buildings, but they can't afford to live in it. But they done gave that money to. So
Mm.
I don't I get on them, and then I get on them in a way where they can understand it. If they get offended, they get offended. But I get on them like that. But this, and like I tell them, our pastor comes out and he does a lot of things with us, and this is what TBS is about. We have to put boots on the ground, and when we got to go out, we got to go out and touch them, and our pastor be right there with them. So Pastor Reggie has helped me get out there and help me with TBS New Direction. But TBS, like you said, TBS was started to show people what the Spades is all about. We still got politicians that don't care nothing about us because we won't change our name.
That's right.
We won't change our name.
All right. Keep that legacy going.
That's what
Don't
we,
change
yeah.
the name, man.
No, we not. And
Yeah.
I ain't gonna mention her name, but we got a politician, and she told me, she said, Tiny. They call me Tiny. Dalcell Clark, the DA, hey DA, the Bronx District Leader. Most of the politicians in most of the areas know me by name. They call me by my name. And she said to me, "You need to change your name." And I said, "Why?" I said, "Let me tell you something. Y'all got SOS, y'all got Brad, y'all got Save Our Streets, y'all got all that. Those are good, but you don't have nothing original. And most of those brothers in those organizations, they're spades. They're from the gangs
Mm.
around the Bronx. Brothers coming from jail. They're doing good work. They're doing good things. But I want to keep an original name so that when people can say, well, they can say, oh, I was original. This is a gang that went from the dark to the light. Okay, might have took
That's right.
might have took years, but we come from the dark to the light, and that's why I created TBS. I created TBS because the Fraternal Order of the Black Spades wasn't telling. I don't. To me, now that's me. It might not have been for y'all, but to me, they wasn't telling the
Hmm.
story the way it should be about the spades. Bam, and them did they thing. I'm not taking nothing from them.
Hmm.
When you build a house, you speak about that house. You don't speak about those bricks. Who sold you those bricks and stuff like that? You just say you put bricks up. You don't promote the bricks people sold and then get their name out, their name and things like that. Because you're not trying to make them higher than you. We just talk about you built this house, you put this in, you put that. The Fraternal Order built a house, but they built a house that wasn't their house. They should have built a house
Right, right, right.
and put other, and then it still could have been their house because Zulu's was their house, but they should have added the spades in it to let them know, let the world know. You got Gestapo, you got Casanovas, you got Zulus. I mean, even the brothers from the Nine Crew. You got. Do you brothers remember AJ that passed away?
Yep.
Used to be with me and Gene.
Yep.
Do you know that most of his
Hmm.
people were
Yep.
spades? Do you know most of them were spades? The we
Now to know that.
most of them were spades that come from Jackson. They were spades. The spades. I don't think there's a place that you can go and don't run into an old spade. When I started doing these public safety dinners, because TBS now when we do dinners, we feed, we give away book bags. We're getting ready now to do a pre-Thanksgiving dinner every year for the last 5 years, a Christmas dinner at the church at Pastor Reggie's church on 222nd on White Plains Road, where we just feed the community. We add politicians. We go out. We ask them would they come. They come. They come. They don't. They don't. We do our thing, and we don't get no donations from anybody. We don't get any funding, any donations, because I'm not begging nobody. And if they give you something, they don't want you to leave their area. We've
Mm.
been working all over the Bronx with Kool-Aid and all of them from the peacemakers. We've been down in Manhattan with the Satan Spades. The Satan Spades were spades that we fought against during the 70s because we were black spades and they came up with the name Satan Spades. And most of them Latin brothers today are doing street work. So we down there with them. We know our history. We know
Mm,
where we come from. But that's because we lived long enough to make bygones bygones, whether death or whatever was in the middle. We can't live for yesterday. We gotta live for the day. And a
that's
lot
right.
of us are at that age where we even say we're gonna, you understand, ask the Lord for forgiveness for because if I'm with you brothers and one of y'all got hurt back in the 70s and now we all old and we see who hurt you, we even say to ourselves, do we leave our family? Do we take revenge for something that happened 100,000 years ago? And we have
Right,
to
right.
make that decision within our own heart. So there's a lot of ex-gang members out there who have made decisions to stand up and walk for me, because even like I said, the bouncers, and I said it before, when the 17th came in our neighborhood, they wanted to kill all of them. But I didn't let them because I grew
Mm,
up with these boys from junior high school to high school. It wasn't just another gang; they were friends.
right, right.
So I protected them. So, these are things that you do. But, it's like now TBS, we just move around and we just do what we do to try to make a difference. And we do a lot of public speaking now. I've been as far as DC and Delaware because off of Facebook, our school in Delaware asked me to come up. We went up there. They paid the transportation. I didn't charge them no money, just transportation. And we took the Metro North or whatever we took. So that ain't costing them probably $1.50. But we went up there and we
Hmm.
spoke in their school. They fed us lunch. We came home. I've been to DC, spoken two schools out there that my nephews got us involved with, and and we still get letters back and forth. But like I say, it's like I'm just trying to make a difference now, and I'm trying
Yes,
to
sir.
truly make a difference because it's like I said before, when I first started TBS, I had a bunch of Zulus. This is after Bam that mess came out with Bam. A bunch of Zulus was calling and saying, "Listen, brother, are you going to expand this?" See, at that time, I didn't know what I was going to do. Today, I say to myself, if anybody wants to make a TBS chapter, let them go ahead and do it. I would do a lot of things different. Don't pay me dues, pay your own self dues. Keep your organization afloat. Keep your chapter afloat. Don't pay me, because you're not paying me, pay yourself. See, I think we all come from the areas where we pay dues to our own chapter, and then we had to pay dues to the mother chapter or whatever it come. We did that in the Spades. We're not doing that no more. We ain't doing that no more.
Yeah.
Whatever money we could,
Same thing for us.
yeah, the money that we
Same thing
spend
for
around,
us.
we throw it for ourselves. I talked to the Shadow brothers and sisters from Brooklyn. These are a bunch of sisters that want to become a part of TBS, and I'm going to tell. And the first thing I said to them is that save your money, do what you want. She said, yo, because they used to be part of the Diamond Club or whatever that is, the biker clubs and stuff, but they no longer part.
Hmm.
They had to pay them dues. No, you don't have to pay me no money. You pay yourself.
That's dope.
You don't pay me, you pay
That's dope.
yourself. You save your money. Whatever you want to do, you do. If you can't finance what you're doing, you don't do it. And don't look for me to finance it. I'm over here. We all together, but you got to learn to be independent. So you have your members, you save your dues when you get your dues. Now, if you short some money and we can help you, we'll help you. But don't
Yeah.
look for us to put up everything because you have to. And that's the way I believe because I've been a part of too many organizations that want dues money and you don't get nothing for it.
Yeah.
That's go from the
Yeah, same
state.
thing, same thing for us.
Yeah.
Like in Zulu, we've been saving money for a building for 30 years, giving brothers and sisters chapter dues, everybody getting shaken down for this money, and we like, yo, where's all this money going? How we collecting money for 30 years and we ain't got a building, we got nothing to show for the money. Where we at? And then everyone want to say, oh, the best donation is the best nation is a donation. That's a saying that we will hear often in Zulu, but there was nothing coming from these donations. We just kicking out. We not getting nothing back. So it comes to a point where you got to say, hey, we don't want to contribute no more. We're gonna just keep the dues in our own community to build up the chapter, build up the community events that we working on. But Brother Tiny, I want to say thank you and big respect for the TBS. We wish y'all nothing but success.
Mhm.
I see um two of our beloved peers that we came up with, A Money and Queenie, been working with y'all, and
Mhm.
I'm very proud to see them working with y'all. And I know that they're in good hands when I see them working with you and the rest of the Spades.
Mhm.
You know, I wanted to give them a shout out. But I know we got a few questions for you before we wrap it up. And
Okay.
one of my questions, what my question to you is something that a lot of young Zulus, we were always going back and forth with misinformation. So we knew Monk as the supreme president of the Black Spades, but we also heard that Bam Bam was the supreme president of the Spades. Can you clarify? I know there's going to be different timelines where one brother might be the supreme, and
There's
then
there's
another
there's
timeline.
let me stop you.
But
There's
also who was the founder? That's what we were always confused.
well, the brother Drew, you might know Khalif, Pete, Karate Pete. They were the founders. They are the true founders.
Okay.
Bam Bam was a part of the true founders of the Spades. Bam Bam was never president of the Spades. Bam Bam was always the
Okay.
warlord. Now, Bam Bam might make,
Oh,
right now, he might act as president because he's the only one out there amongst the brothers. He's the only one
okay.
holding things together today, but he was never the president. Monk,
Okay.
Monk was the second president. Guru was the founder and the president of the Black Spades from 1968. Monk came after them. The founders of the Black Spades stepped aside. They stepped aside because the Spades grew, and it also grew in a capacity that, not a capacity, but in a light that they wasn't a part of. They wanted to be part of saving the community, fight. They believed in a lot of black rights, black power, black nationalism. They wasn't all about this shit. The founders, most of them are still alive. They are professors and everything. One of them worked. I'm not going to tell you where all they are, but most of them right here in the Bronx. But you'll never know who they are because they
Mm,
don't come forward no more. Now, Bam is a good
hmm.
brother. Bam is my elder, but he's never, ever been president of the Spades. Monk was the president of
Okay.
the Spades. Not the first.
Okay.
Monk, the second president. The first president was Guru, who started the Spades, was the first president.
Okay. That's what we saw in the movie. So that was the first time, you know, when we saw that in the movie theater, we that clarified it. But I wanted to clarify it to our listeners and our
Mm-hmm.
viewers,
Mm-hmm.
so that they know the truth
Mm-hmm.
accurately from you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Watt, Razor, Just P, I'm sure y'all got questions as well.
Um, Going back to your habit at the time, like how long did it take you to kick it? Like, because I know I had an addiction before I became Muslim, and I know like it was kind of rough. How long did it take you to like completely kick that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Even today, I have not been high since 2014, January 1st, 2014 till today. And I don't
Mm,
say I kicked
salute.
anything because I've never went to a
Right,
rehab. I just woke up. I've been
right.
21 years on those streets, sniffing coke, hanging out in the clubs and doing this, almost losing my family and everything. I woke up at the age of 57 years old and said enough was enough. And I haven't been back. And the reason why I say I don't kick, because let me tell you something.
Mashallah.
There's a lot of times I get urges, but you know what? I just
Mm,
fight them urges. I ain't never been into
mm,
a 12-step program or nothing. I just woke up and said to myself, enough is enough. And all the forgiveness that I blame my wife for, my kids for, and everything, I just said, no, I'm gonna take the blame as a man. I'm gonna take the blame for everything. And I walked into my house and I asked my wife for forgiveness. And I said, you know what? I don't care what you did because whatever you did, I drove you to do. I told my kids, your father's back. And I've been a father to one of my kids in jail, but my grandson and stuff. I just stopped. I just got tired. I got tired of working check to check. I go pay the people that I borrowed the money from all week. And that Friday night, I didn't got so hard again. I had to go back that night and get the loan again. You see, and they put more
mm.
interest on it,
Wow.
even though I didn't have to pay it. But I did to keep that reputation. So I just quit.
Mm.
No 12-step program, no nothing. And that's what my mother said. She said, one day when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, son, and she wasn't talking about the drugs, she talking about the street thing, you gotta have something to fall in. And that's what I tell our kids. You better get an education. If you don't want it, so what? But get it. Because when you wake up one day and you realize that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, or sick of being broke, and sick and tired of this, or sick and tired of that, what do you have to fall on? I had an education. I went back to college and got my bachelor's, opened up these two programs. Not everybody is fortunate as lucky as me. And I'm not fortunate. I'm just somebody that has something for them. Because when you don't have a GED, you can't even get a job. These people are asking for something
Oh, wow.
that's useless. Because the average brother on
Hmm.
the street is a brainiac. But they won't even give him an opportunity if you don't have a piece of paper that means nothing. But to
Mm.
them, it means something.
Mhm.
Yeah, peace, brother.
P
Right.
Razor.
I was wondering, due to your very well articulate, pardon me sometimes, on my word, um, did you ever have any issues as far as, people judging you because you spoke so well? Or was it a bit of a gift and a curse for you?
Oh, my brother, it's always been a curse. It's been a curse in the black spades. Now, mind you, I couldn't read that well. I had dyslexia. I didn't learn it until I went to prison, and I'm still learning how to deal with it. So I never was an outspoken person. And as far as spelling, I know how to put words together. But because I didn't speak, yo, motherfucker, what's going on? You nigga! I didn't speak like that.
Hmm.
And everybody, like I
Hmm.
told you, everybody, they would call me Poindexter. They would call me Professor this. Oh, their specialty was Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. I mean, even by my own peers, the Spades. But it also allowed me to be in different positions of notoriety. I deal with a lot of politicians, even back in the days. Everybody knew I wasn't the president of no Spades. I called no shots. But when they needed something done or had to talk, they knocked on tiny door because they went to the president, but they came to me first because they knew that they could get a solid, stable conversation out of me. Now, what my president had to offer was different, but they can get a sensible conversation. Always, bro. I've been mocked even today. Motherfucker, you think you know everything. God damn it. Yeah, and why you always got to talk? Because if I let you talk, you're going to chase everybody out. We don't need to go to, yeah, listen, brother, you don't know the journey I've been on, man. And I'm not the smartest person at the table. I think I'm the dumbest. I can't spell to save my life. When I went to college, let me tell you how I got through college. At 57 years old, I got through with a phone that got spell check and sentence structure. So I get on, and on my laptop that I'm on now, I get on in, I do it, and spell check and sentence structure. My wife has a master's. She just got a master's last year. She has a bachelor's. We both got it from college in New Rochelle. But she's awesome. I give her all my papers. I give everything in spell check, structure. My mother taught me be a decent to be. She said if you can speak on both sides of the aisle and know what you're talking about, that means if you can speak on the white side and the black side, you can get somewhere. Now, only you may not know much, but if you can speak and they knock on the door and they give you a chance to speak, you can get a job. If they put it on paper, she said, shit, you ain't going nowhere. But if you learn how to talk to people, you would always learn how to write, read, and write. And that's what I did. My mother taught me how to speak to people. A woman raised me, and she taught me how to speak to people. And put aside and drop by my life, even by my stage, I had to be respected because I could solve what they couldn't solve. You words.
Wise
Mm.
woman.
Yeah,
Yeah, honor to your mother.
Uh,
God bless.
yeah.
Um, when you were speaking on the fraternal order of the Black Spades and you were like they were more Zulu, can you just expand on the idea of why they were more Zulu? In your opinion, or an idea, why was that so? Were they Zulus that were Spades? Were they just older Zulus that decided to just, or even older Spades that decided to be Zulu? because from my side, they just returned, and it was a bunch of older Zulus being Fraternal Order of the Black Spades. It wasn't really a formal introduction to who these people were. Um, even Queen Pepsi, rest in peace. I seen her at a function or two in Cortona Park, and the next thing you know, she was Queen Pepsi, Black Spade this, and World Council that. So, just can you shine some light on how that really happened from your side of things?
My perspective, I'm gonna give you brothers my perspective right or wrong. I'm gonna let you know how I feel. But even remember at the time, yeah, you know all those things, it was state power. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm mad with BAM. Because BAM being a mighty organization, BAM could have came. I believe he could have became mayor of New York City. That's how powerful he built it. And that what came along after it just turned out the nation. Now, to get to what you said, at that time, it was all about humans. Everybody on that council, the fraternal orders, were spades. They were all spades at one time. But because spades was out and Zulus was in, they ran with the new coat instead of the old coat. And everything was about BAM now. BAM this, BAM that. And it's like when you grow up and you take a wife, all of us as men, we take a wife and we forget our mother. I think since I've been talking to you, everything came out of my mouth is what I learned from my mother, and which is true. My life teachings came from my mother. School taught me how to read and write, but mother taught me how to read and write too. And to speak and to be elegant and how to treat people. At that moment, it was about Zulus. I'm sorry, my brothers, I never adapted to Zulus. I was friends with Zulus. I still got Zulu friends, and I will always be friends of Zulus, but I am a spade. And before I can speak on you, I got to speak on me. My drug habit, my running the streets, this, that. They did not speak on the spades. There was times where they said, fuck the spades. And I'm going to say it just like that. Because it was about them. And everybody in the fraternal order of spades, about the fraternal order of spades was spades. Now, why didn't they stay with the spade concept? That's because Zulus was number one. The spades was dead and buried. They thought. But spades will never. As long as there's brothers out there like myself that wanna keep the spades name alive in a positive manner. Now you see all them brothers out there in the street, them young boys I call them the 21st century spades. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with them, but they don't know the history the way they should. They're not being taught the history the way they should. They some good ass brothers, but they're not being taught the history and the fraternal order. If they would have taught the order of the spades the way you know, they would have known more of you brothers would have known more of the history. TBS me a record. I don't have a lot of spades. TBS me a record. There's Wally, my cousin, and Gigi. There's 15 of us. There's only 5 spades. Everybody else on the planet labor workers. And those workers know the history. Tiny, Yoga Beast, Ganga Beast, selling drugs, taking drugs, and they also know the black is where I was and where I come from. I was getting the title of Supreme Statesman of the South Bronx. They need the South Bronx. I don't go around Fort man. That ain't even the Statesman. And then you can just a lot of them do. Tiny Rock and all of them do know that my title was a Statesman. I don't go around telling I'm the earliest spade in the room. So I put it in TVS New Direction. I want people to know the state. And the fraternity, we did in the 50s. They were all about spade in the 50s. But I believe they should have told me about where they came from. Then you talk about where you're going and where you at. But like I said in that tell you where I came from. Even if I didn't do TBS, if I had another name, Renegade, where I come from and how I became a renegade. They wasn't teaching the history. And y'all not the only brother. There's a lot of brothers, a lot of Zulus, You understand? From Cortland, all over the place. B.O. and them brothers, a lot of them, the one with B.O. and all them, a lot of brothers. I mean, B.O. and all them before they died through the hip hop world. A lot of brothers, big brothers that don't know
Yes,
that
sir.
Spades is the birthplace of Casanovas, Zulus, Gestapos, and a lot more other crews out there. There's the Spades was in the 9 crew. Spades was up there with AJ and them from Jackson. The more houses and all them brothers that wasn't Casanovas, that they had their own crew. Why brothers from the Spades? And the more we teach about the Spades, what I believe that the rules, and my beautiful sister, sometimes we argue. Hey, yo, Pepsi, why you ain't teaching about the Spades? She avoided me. We argued because I argued with her, but she avoided me because I don't think there was nothing she could tell me. It was about you. So what? Who you? The way you come from. So when I created TBS, I wanted the world to know, and I teach it every day. Who comes
So,
out of the Spades? One of the greatest athletes out of the Spades, and I'm gonna let you brothers know, was Bam Potter. Until that incident took place. And I'm gonna say it again. He could have became mayor of New York City because he didn't. That shit KRF say he stopped the guns. That's bullshit. He didn't stop nothing. But he did bring people together. He didn't stop no guns. He just got people in the Zulus and they had their own agenda. He was magnificent. Bam was a genius in his own right. And I fault him because he put together a mighty nation when he should have put himself together. Because you destroyed a nation and you destroyed lives of brothers and sisters who believed you. And he was my friend. I don't speak against him. I don't think there's nothing wrong with him like that. There's only one thing we have to copy one time, and it's on.
we saw the video.
Yeah, and
We
we
seen
love
it.
the poppy, and we explain the poppy, and the brothers in that meeting was we're not worth that, and we're not. I'm not making anything with that man. But
That's
he
right.
was against him. I'm not gonna tell you just into poppy and none of y'all and nothing else. You understand? You have to realize there's three demons. His demons will make him and break him, just like the rest of us got demons.
Yes, sir.
You know, I just found my demon. It was 21 years later. One of my right get back when I begged her for forgiveness. Begged my kids for forgiveness. Well, I don't know why, 'cause I should have killed my own, but anyway, I think I'm gonna be out. I begged them all for forgiveness because I love them. And I just, sometimes a man's got to turn around and say what he did first and then if you want to go into others, but we got to accept our own blame and what we did to destroy things. I beg for forgiveness, and you know, like I said, I can beg to the other beg for forgiveness because this is too far out there. I don't think this will ever die. And I do believe the band is involved in a lot of things, but how would you be involved in a lot of things you can't put your faith in? But
Right, right.
Right.
things get left
Um,
every day, you
That's
know.
true.
I
That's
have one
true.
other question. With the Casanova crew, is there any is there relation to Grandmaster Caz, who was known as Casanova Fly, or is that just something separate?
Okay. That at the time, Kaz was known as Casanova Fly. Myself and 10 other Casanovas approached him. They and me and Kaz spoke about this about a couple of weeks ago. He thanked me. They went to hurt him. You better change your name because people thought he was Casanova Fly, and they thought he was part of the Casanova crew. They made him change his
Mm,
name. You understand? What do you call Grandmaster Caz? They made him change his name from Casanova Fly to Grandmaster Caz. He changed his name right there on the spot. And because I was there, I would not let them touch him. Like I said, I've always been a person who was in the middle of things. My crew even hate me when you talk about people because you're too soft. You always want to talk. You always want to this. But look how many of you are still alive today.
Mm-hmm.
Look how many of us are still alive today. And practically all the Casanovas are alive. And even with the Spades, they died. The 17th division, I lost them. I lost them with the whole 17th division before they was 30 years old. I went to
Mm.
jail I went to jail when I was 18. I came back when I was 21. I lost all, and that was I went away in 74, came back in 76. By 77, damn near all of them was dead from gunshots on the
Damn.
street.
Oh, can I ask you something about that? While you talk about your bid, when you did your bid up north, was there black spade activity in the state prisons or Rikers Island in New York City?
Yes and no.
Were y'all active in prison? Okay.
No, 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 don't get me wrong. We knew each other. You couldn't touch us, but there was more of the 5%ers back then. The 5%ers was the
Hmm.
rulers of the penitentiary. I wouldn't give a fuck if your name was King Kong. They ruled, but the 5%ers is different. I'm not gonna even go into that concept because it would be very negative. But it was good. My name became Minister Shah Shah Allah for the way I acted in prison. But the black spades, most of my educators was black. See, I don't know if you brothers ever heard of Mother Dear. Mother Dear was from the 6th Division of Spades, and
Hmm.
and Divine was my educator. Mother Dear was one of the biggest and greatest punks in the city of New York, and could use them
Mm-hmm.
hands. And I mean, she used them hands like he was a he, but he used them hands like a goddamn boxer. And he got killed in jail too, using them hands. But our brothers, most of us became educated in prison as far as 5%ers. We didn't stand out as black space. Now, they knew who we were. They knew who we were. But we didn't run around as the black spades. We run around as guards or Muslims. Because that's where you had to be back in those days. You know, the gangs did not, and I don't care what they tell you, the gangs did not survive as far as black spades, bachelors, this, that, Spanish gangs. They survived, even Latinos, as Muslims or 5%ers back in those days. Now, how they
So,
doing it today, I don't know.
so Mother Dear was a black spade. I never heard that before. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Mother,
my,
yeah,
my father
mother,
told me he was a tomahawk.
I've heard that he was the creator of the 52 hand block, but then it got debunked by somebody I heard a couple years ago.
well,
I've heard many stories about Mother Dear, but I had no idea he was a black spade.
well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I might be wrong, I might not be right, but I'm gonna put it to you like this. If I'm wrong, then somebody will tell me one day when they hear your podcast. Mother dear, my educator was Divine. Mother dear and Divine was homies. Divine was the black spade. They told me that Mother dear and Divine on the street ran together as black spades. Now, yeah, Ben Bada was a black spade, but but to my knowledge, he wasn't in any way at the black space. Now, was Mother dear in any ways, or was he really doing it like that on the street? I couldn't tell you. Divine was not educated in prison, him and Mother Dear, felonies, and I was always taught to believe that them two were spades. Now, might be wrong, might not be
Wow.
right, but I was taught that them two, that Divine was a spade on the street. So that's what I was taught
Wow.
to believe. Could be
That's
right, could be
crazy.
wrone.
Right. Right.
Mm.
It
You know,
wasn't the
so
whole
That's
52
crazy.
hand block system. It wasn't the whole 52s. I think it was the people knew what they use in the 52s. Was
no,
created
it
by
was the
Mother.
old
Oh,
52.
the catch and kiss is what they say he invented.
It, it, it
Okay.
was it was the catch and catch and the 52. Mother Dear can do all this
Mm,
so good stuff and catch you and hit you. Mother Dear was
yeah,
awesome. Mother Dear was awesome with the catch. I ain't never been able to fight like that. I was a baller. You hit me and I'm on you. I'm biting,
Mm.
starting, and I'm brawling. Until we run out of energy, I brawl. But Mother Dear was one of those 52 catch. I see I'm gonna get American catch. I mean, as a young man, I was fascinated into that. But I think Chase, he'll
mm,
do a 52 back step, he'll hit you and catch it. He was
yeah.
fast. He got killed upstate. He got killed upstate, I heard.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, so,
Mm.
Brother Tiny, we running a long one, so we want to invite you back anytime, you got some time to give us some jewelry. We'll be open to having you back on. You welcome anytime to be back on this show with us. We're grateful for your time, and we're gonna carry your story as far as possible. We're gonna speak your name as loud as possible. And just know that, as long as the Zulus continue to live, we will honor you and carry your stories and give the respect, the honor, and the credit that the Spades deserve. So long as we live, know that. You
Actual
know what I
fact.
mean?
but
Um,
I'm gonna say this to y'all though. It's not so much respect to me. You know what though? Even though you give respect to me, I got to give respect to y'all because see, it's the organizations that come behind us. Whether you carry the spade names or not, you carry the spade within you, and it takes you.
mm,
This is why the founders of the spades left because even though you carried the spade, but you wasn't carrying the ideology that they wanted to bring forth. Everybody
mm,
creates their own story, long as they create their story and honor those that was in front of them. And you brothers did, I'm telling you, I'm mad with Bam. I'll say it again. You brothers was awesome. He did an awesome thing. He brought the Zulus all over the world. You and to a point you had no choice but to speak about the stage, whether you even knew about it or not. You had to mention their names. That's keeping us alive. Then someone like me comes along and tell you the story so now that you can know how you staying alive. So I say honor to you brothers because it takes a lot to even stay in the footstep of all the bullshit that's going on today. You just change the name around and you still do your thing and you keep the respect of your elders. And as long as you know where you come from, you know where you're going. And now that you got a little bit more clear, and you're gonna always hear much more, even more brothers that come after me gonna tell you a different story. But when you put them all together, you will see that the Spades was never ever to be a gang. And if they could have lived long enough, they would have been just like the Zulus. Because I honor y'all on what y'all do. Because the history of the Zulus can never be taken from nobody and cannot be carried by one man. And anybody who wants to honor the Zulus solo is just as wrong as they can be. Because it's too many of you brothers that you understand that put Zulus on the map. You might go in a different direction now, but remember one
hmm.
thing: they can't take away your history from you.
That's right.
Well,
We
appreciate that.
appreciate that.
All right.
For much respect. Before we shoot out, how can brothers and sisters reach out to you if they want to, connect with you about, in regards to the Black Spades, new direction or speaking events or movie roles, books? Because you need it all, brother. You need the books, you need the movies, you need all of that.
Well,
Absolutely.
you can contact me at Marion Marion dot Frampton Frampton at gmail.com, or you can give me a call 347-951-0931. You can reach me for Black Space Security. You can also reach me for TDS New Direction. And for most of the brothers and sisters that's living in the Bronx, we work out of the Bronx on 222nd Street at United Christian Baptist Church with our pastor Reginald Paris, who's training me to be a deacon right now. And I'm still trying, and at my age, I'm still trying to get my master's. I ain't gonna do nothing with everything that I'm trying to get. But you know what? I want to die I want to honor my mother because I'm as the second oldest of nine. I'm the only one without a master's.
Mm,
Only three
wow.
boys and six girls. Everybody has masters except for me. I'm the only one been to jail. I'm the only one sold drugs. I'm the only one get, and I'm still alive today to let them to be proud of their big brother and sister. So I'm still trying to achieve success on my own for my family. I want my kids to see me in a different light now. So if anybody wants to get involved, you understand? I don't ask for donations, but if you want to donate, you want to get involved, you want to get
Hmm.
involved with us. Speaking against we do a lot of community activities now. We give away book bags. We buy 300 book bags every year and we give it away. We feed the community. November 23rd at the United Baptist Church, we're going to do a Thanksgiving dinner. Christmas, I think the
Hmm.
21st. We're gonna do a pre-Christmas dinner, give away clothing, feed, and for Christmas we get toys every year. We give away toys. So we do whatever we can. We feed the homeless. Last year on 149th Street and 3rd Avenue, we fed almost 400. I'm gonna say three, but I'm gonna say almost 400 people, giving away clothes and feeding them. And we make this food ourselves: chicken, salad, rice, sodas, water, potato chips, cakes, vegetables, salads. This food is homemade and we give it away and make it ourselves with no donations. So if you're ready to get involved, you ready to do certain things on the street, and if you're ready not to get paid, then come join us, because we don't have no money to pay nobody. And all the people that's with me is even receiving food stamps, welfare, whatever they got, but they're making a difference, and we just try to make the difference to the best of our ability. So that's what we do. And anybody who wants to join us, you can. We got a young white girl, sister. I'm gonna call her. Sorry the way I expressed that. My sister, she's white. She come all the way from Beacon, New York. She comes down here and joins us and work with us for everything we do. So
Respect.
I don't care who you are or what's your nationality and what language you speak. As long as you're ready to get out there and roll your sleeves up and do some work for the community, come join us.
That's peace, man. Definitely, I
Definitely.
encourage all the listeners and viewers to email the brother if you feel in your heart to donate to the cause. Reach out to the brother, and I'm sure those donations will be greatly appreciated and put to a good cause. Tiny, big respect, my brother. Thank you again. We're honored to have you on, and we hope to have you on again sometime down the line soon.
Well, listen,
Peace and love.
thank you, my brothers, and thank you for having me. And listen,
Thank
you
you.
brothers keep up the good work too, because remember, I do it on this side, you do it on that side, and hopefully somebody will see better work and they'll do it on their side. And we be able
That's
to
right.
bring this community together, because, yo, our community is starving for leaders. We may not have young leaders, but we can all be a leader together, as long as we go in the same direction. So peace and blessings to you.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right.
Peace.
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 Peace
Peace.
out. Peace. Peace.